Walt Disney World has an awful lot going on this week, as we've come to find the rivers of America are about to be drained for several months. Turns out that annual pass holders who are current might just have the opportunity to renew their annual passes. We'll dive into more of that. And yes, the sad truth is here. Turns out that tens of thousands of Disney employees across the company have now been laid off or will be in the coming days. It is October the 3rd, 2020. Kingdom Report Live starts right now.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Kingdom Report Live is on. Hello, my friends. Heath joining you from the Warner Brothers Studios Media District here in beautiful Burbank, California, where we always have the magic for you as well as some harsh realities of the world. Unfortunately, this show is going to be dedicated to much of the news that has broke this week that is not necessarily all that upbeat or pleasant. So we want to warn you in advance. It will be probably a very emotional show, but grateful to have you with us this beautiful weekend as we kick things off. I'm always here joined at my side with a team that I appreciate so dearly. It is Katina Manzone and Tyler Crouch from AttractionFaction.net.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Welcome. Hello. Nice to be here. I'm not super excited about a lot of the news today, but it's still good to be here regardless and say hi to everybody and see all your beautiful faces.
Lots to cover, definitely lots to get to. And filling in for producer Kurt, well, by gosh gracious, it is producer Christian. Hello, sir.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Christian.
Hi.
Hello.
Excited to be here.
How's the dungeon over there?
Good so far. Not too gruesome.
Okay,
Good. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah, it's getting to be spooky time, so could get worse.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Always excited for spooky time.
Yes.
The broadcast is young. Don't mess it up.
I'll try not to.
Okay. All right. I have no doubt about it. I'm sure we'll be just fine. We're in good hands, no doubt about that. It is wonderful to be with you once again, and hopefully your week has been solid in every way that it can be as we venture on into the weekend here. Big news to get to on the Disney parks front. Unfortunately, 28,000 Disney employees have been laid off or will be laid off in the process of Disney eliminating positions across the board. Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro offered the following statement, saying that in light of the prolonged impact of COVID-19 on our business, including limited capacity due to physical distancing requirements and the continued uncertainty regarding the duration of the pandemic, only exacerbated in California by the state's unwillingness to lift restrictions that would allow Disneyland to reopen, we have made the very difficult decision to begin the process of reducing our workforce at our parks, experiences, and products segment at all levels, having kept non-working cast members on furlough since April while paying healthcare benefits. Approximately 28,000 domestic employees will be affected, of which about 67% are part-time. We are talking with impacted employees as well as to the unions on the next steps for union-represented cast members. huge news this week as 28,000 individuals across the board either are getting those calls as we speak, have already received those calls, or are being told by their unions in some regard that they will be getting calls eventually. We want to share with you that there are some numbers that have recently come out as to where things are falling in the sort of dike of the experience here and who's getting laid off where. The unfortunate news continues with non-union cast members as, according to WDW News Today, the Disneyland Resort will lay off nearly 2,700 non-union cast members. They do mention that the 2,700 non-union cast members are being reported on by the Orange County Register, and they are mentioning that those are all coming from different walks of life, whether this be entertainment, Disney destinations, Walt Disney Travel Company, you name it. Non-union cast members are experiencing some record number layoffs. I know that all throughout the week I've been watching as those layoffs continue to occur across the board, and definitely noticing that the social media of my friends is lighting up with a lot of those departures, a lot of those announcements that people are moving on, and that they all are receiving phone calls right now. Very sort of unexpected to just happen like that, but certainly continuing through this process is non-union cast members are getting those calls first, and then it sounds like union cast members will be getting those calls in the relative near future. According to the Local 11 union that represents a lot of hospitality cast members at the Disneyland Resort, they've issued a statement saying that 950 Disneyland Resort cast members are to be laid off come November the 1st. Again, they represent the majority of hospitality workers, a lot of those hotel union cast members that you may be aware of. So 950 of the 3,000 that Local 11 represents. And then in addition to that, Disney has announced a full breakdown of layoffs over at Walt Disney World. That obviously is going to be a pretty substantial number, as we have found many times. Walt Disney World being sort of a mini city unto itself, those numbers are pretty tremendous. They are rather significant in nature, and so we'll take a look here at just how many people were let go off of that. It seems that 6,246 of the finance, operations, and possibly even resort-wide positions are being let go or will be let go. 65 administrative positions from the Celebration Florida offices, 49 individuals from the Orlando International Airport merchandise operations area, 22 creative costuming individuals, 8 Disney Reservation Center cast members, and 279 from the Disney Vacation Club. My goodness. Disney Vacation Club, obviously a much bigger business unit out on the East Coast than it is here on the West Coast. However, substantial numbers regardless, knowing that that is such a massive elimination of positions across the board. 28,000 individuals, 28,000 human beings, 28,000 lives impacted by this one sweeping decision by the Walt Disney Company. Cast members that have made a tremendous impact on the overall experience, cast members that have delivered on the magic for some 20, 30 years even. This is affecting cast members across the board. We want to make it really clear that cast members that have been there 1 year are being eliminated, cast members that have been there 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, and all the way up to 30 is what I've been hearing from individuals that have had that longevity and have been excused from the company. You know, the statement that we saw from Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro, while it indicates that California's reopening was something that exacerbated the situation and definitely impacted their, I think, decision-making overall, should be, I think, made quite clear that Disney made this decision. This rests on Disney. So this is their responsibility. They chose to make 28,000 people jobless based on the current climate and the pandemic. Obviously, Disneyland not reopening no doubt impacted how many people they let go. But Tyler, Katrina, these numbers are devastating. It was a bloodbath this week when it came to the amount of people that were let go, the amount of people that were sort of cast aside in this process. People that have given years of their life to this company are now in one phone call being excused, and they didn't get to say goodbye. They didn't get an opportunity to see their teams one last time. They're just gone. And my own social media, as somebody that worked for the last 12 years at the company, it's just been wall to wall. Hundreds of friends of mine, hundreds of people have lit up social media in the last couple of days, all with those announcements of, I'm next, it sounds like. Katrina, your reaction as these numbers started to pan out this week and as we started to learn more about it?
Gutted. I don't know. I don't really. It's hard to say how. I'm full of emotions. I'm angry at what they had to do, and I'm really sad that all these people have to, go through all of this. And these people want to go to work. They want to make magic for people, and now they can, and they can't even say goodbye to their team. These people that have worked there for 20, 25 years. Now, instead of having this big farewell, saying goodbye to everybody and walking the park one more time, they don't even get it. And it's just heartbreaking. And then just seeing stuff through Twitter, I can't even imagine being a cast member and seeing your social media blow up saying I got the call, and everybody knows what that means. And I've seen I feel just a little tiny blip of what's going on, because there's so many more cast members out there that kind of know. And so I see it through Twitter, people commenting and stuff, and then I'll see it even people that are friends with Ariel and friends with Cinderella. These people are saying goodbye to their little happy place that they got to share these beautiful stories with children and all that stuff, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible to see, and I know that over the course of since July, I should say, I think the company has been pushing heavily on Disneyland Resort reopening, and I kind of railed last week against the governor's inability to put any sort of guidance forward at this point. Very frustrated with the fact that, because we report on it week after week here, how he says, we're this close, we're about to issue guidance, we're about to say something, we're about to share this information, and week after week it gets kicked down the road, it gets pushed, and I'm convinced that the layoffs were coming regardless. I think we knew that from the beginning. We knew these layoffs were coming because you can't, as a theme park destination, I believe the Disney Parks branch of the company brings in roughly 40% of the revenue for the organization. So without your theme parks online in a full capacity, and then one of your biggest money makers in Disneyland not on at all, obviously you're going to have to make some pretty severe cuts. We've discussed the optics of executive pay being reinstated to its full amount, including bonuses, just prior to a lot of these things happening. So certainly that has enraged a lot of cast members who are frustrated, with their situation, and saying, well, it's nice to know that your bonus structure is being put back in place. It's nice to know that your pay is being reinstated in full. It doesn't look like the company's doing all that well by comparison, but with stocks up, slightly, I guess that's the case. I guess that looks good on them. However, we do know that the state of California has gone back and forth with this idea of issuing guidance. And I know that at the root of things, had that guidance been issued earlier, this number probably would have been a little bit lower. Don't know how much, but taking a leap there. And
it could have been at least maybe 18,000, not
you never know
28,000 or something.
Right.
If we
it's hard to tell, honestly.
Even just opening part of it could have probably helped a little bit. But
I think that's a possibility. But as we saw in the previous slide and stuff like that, a lot of these people are working in Florida, and they're not even in California. So to think that Disneyland is, it's a massive part of their revenue. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to stop all these layoffs. If Disneyland was open right now, there would still be layoffs. Sure, no doubt about it. So
that's what I said.
Yeah. No, I know, but I'm seeing stuff in the chat too that it's these things. It's not it doesn't seem as simple as it actually is. Right. Or the opposite of that. Excuse me. It doesn't. It's more complicated than what it seems like. So it's really a huge bummer. For us, I feel like the cast members are that magical part of the whole entire thing. I don't even I don't care about going on, Little Mermaid as much as I care about going to the park and seeing people that I've actually made like real friendships with, where now, when you go, it's going to feel like such a different place, because that was like our exciting thing to do, was go and see the people that we knew, go and have fun with them. And it's a huge bummer to know that so many people are so affected. And I don't even know. Yeah, I've been through similar things like that, but I feel like this is even worse because it's so like high profile and everybody knows about it. And like, so it's just, give these people space, be supportive, but don't be asking a bunch of questions and stuff. Just
don't blatantly come out and say, "Did you get fired?"
Yeah,
like don't. That like just be nice about it. And if you have job opportunities, or if you want to help and try to, if they're doing a small little business on the side on Etsy, share it.
Yeah.
If you can, like, anything will help any of these cast members. Just don't go out and just say, "Hey, did you get fired?"
Yeah, realize that it's a highly sensitive time, and people are in positions they never thought they'd be in. It's incredible just to think how much a year can impact things. I think about Disney this time last year, and just what a powerhouse it was, and what was
Walking around,
happening, and
enjoying the Halloween things and the parties, and just no little care in the world kind of thing. And now it's just like sad.
Yeah, and Tyler, you mentioned that obviously this is a situation that we need to recognize. Disney's not the only place that is in a situation like this. Disney's not the only place that's dealing with something like this. Out in Orlando, I think it's important to recognize Disney being the highest profile place, which you had mentioned, is obviously getting all the attention. But I think it's important to also make note that Universal Orlando is shedding 2,300 jobs now.
Yeah.
You have 1,900 at Rosen Resorts, another 1,900 at Marriott Properties, another 1,900 at SeaWorld, 1,300 at Gaylord Palms, 1,000 at the Hyatt, 1,200 airline workers from Orlando International that are being cut. The company's profit, it dropped 91% during the first 3 quarters of the year, and has just been. It's been a bloodbath the whole way through. It has been so tragic to see the tumbling and fumbling of all these companies, all these businesses, because at the end of the day, the people that truly get hurt are a lot of your frontline workers, are a lot of those people that are going to be cut in the end. And now you have 28,000 people, a portion of which have been notified. Don't even get me started on those people that have to wait because of their unions and the negotiation process. Imagine what that's going to be like, to have to sit there for another month, some 2, and worry about whether or not that call is coming for you. That's hard.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it too, but just because they're talking about this 28,000, that doesn't mean that there can't be more layoffs in the future. I mean,
it's just a part of it.
It's like a scary thing to think about. But now, it's crazy that Disney was once this solid rock that you just always thought you had this job security. There was no way that Disney was going to shut down. There was no way all this money was going to go away. They seemed like they were a behemoth, and now it's crumbling, and it's really heartbreaking for those cast members like you were speaking about earlier, who had been there for up to 30 years or so, who have been thinking this is their career, this is what they do, and now what are you supposed to go do? Especially, honestly, in a place like Orlando, where that whole town is theme parks. I mean, that's,
built
all of
on
it.
Tourism.
It's built on tourism. And now what are you supposed to go do? Like when, I don't even know how many people total are going to be laid off just in Orlando. But let's say if it's half of it, if it's 14,000 people, where are all these people going to go?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really sad.
Josh Tomorrow said, "We've cut expenses, suspended capital projects, furloughed our cast members while still paying benefits, and modified our operations to run as efficiently as possible. However, we simply cannot responsibly stay fully staffed while operating at such a limited capacity." End quote. And I get it. You're bringing in substantially less in terms of revenue, substantially less in terms of overall capacity out of necessity, because that's the only way you can control things. We also learned that the demand when Walt Disney World that they thought was going to be sort of pent up just wasn't there. So they have not necessarily seen all the demand that they had anticipated. All of that, no doubt, playing into the overall numbers and what we're seeing from Disney in that capacity. And you're right, Tyler, heaven forbid, but who knows if there are more to come. The co-president of Unite Here, Local 11 at the Disneyland Resort, said that it's crucial for Governor Gavin Newsom of California to have signed AB 3216, which guaranteed priority to experienced employees in the hospitality industry when the crisis subsides and people are called back to work. However, we learned yesterday that Governor Newsom vetoed that bill, saying it was too broad and hard on employers. I don't know what was in the bill, so I haven't had an opportunity to take a look at it. I don't know necessarily what it mandated. On the surface, that sounds like a very wholesome bill to have signed. Perhaps people that were laid off in this process should get that, first and foremost opportunity to come on back, but it sounds like that is not being put into effect. I know that there was a caravan of Disneyland cast members that were headed up to the state capitol this week to try and lobby for that to happen. So quite surprising that it didn't get signed. I don't necessarily know what was included in that bill. Maybe there was something we don't understand or haven't seen. But in addition to that, we also want to say that with the numbers in Orlando being so over the top in terms of loss, the Anaheim numbers are, I won't say equally as bad, but pretty darn bad, as the Anaheim Director of Communications, Mike Lister, has explained this week that the number of unemployed residents in the city of Anaheim is now passing the 20,000 mark. This is devastating on every level. Obviously, Anaheim has a few more industries in it that it can rely on, but tourism is a huge part of that.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of need Disneyland.
Yeah.
And then those hotels are ruined right now. No one's going to go and stay at Candy Cane Inn right now. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes there for Disneyland. That's what they associate with these certain hotels. I don't know. It's just, it's devastating to see all of this happen, and I really hope that we hear news soon about what's going on with Disneyland, because like what Tyler said, if this doesn't open, or if Newsom just puts it on the back burner another 2 weeks, that means another month and a half could happen for Disneyland to open, and at that point wait until the new year. Mm-hmm. And then that means more layoffs. And
we have witnessed out in Walt Disney World the sort of safe rollout of Walt Disney World theme parks returning, mm-hmm. and the ability to set up a safe environment, and I've mentioned here before, did a whole series on it called Disney World in Pandemic. You can find it on our YouTube channel, if you're interested in seeing exactly the type of safety measures that they put into place to really create a far greater standard of health and safety than the other theme parks even.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it. I mean, the theme parks in Florida are doing it, and they're the ones that are rejecting the whole mask policy thing, and the locals and stuff. So I feel we can do it. It's just we need to work together to actually continue, trying to open the parks and stuff, and get food, food and beverage people back, and start opening up the restaurants and stuff. There's got to be ways around it to open up Disneyland in some fraction to at least give people jobs and opportunity.
And I know we spoke about the food festival loophole here a couple weeks ago,
even
maybe
open
a month
up the
ago.
restaurants, for God's sakes. Walk in, make a reservation, and then instead of walking around the park, you have to get out at a certain point or something. There's ways to get around it. I know there's union things where certain people are controlled in the ticket taking area, or whatever, but there's got to be ways to kind of go around it and try to create this stuff, and get Patina Group involved or something to if you're worried about your stakeholders and worried about Patina getting mad because they kind of own downtown Disney in a way, there's got to be certain things that they can do to try to.
It's whatever it takes at this point to bring in additional revenue. I mean, we've seen Knott's Berry Farm successfully pull off these food festivals back to back and selling out.
Sold out.
Yeah.
this Halloween one is sold out in like a week or something like that, 2 weeks. But it's crazy because we've done a few things, around we went to Nevada and we went to Oregon recently and stuff. And I just feel like these private businesses that have to handle this stuff, they have a more vested interest in a lot of ways of protecting you than even the government does. Because if you get sick, like, nobody at the government has to answer for it. But if you get sick at, in a Las Vegas hotel or whatever, the news could come out, and it could be bad for them. And it would be the same thing with Disney. So all these private businesses that we've gone to since quarantine started have actually been felt to me like a safer environment than just walking on a sidewalk. So I really feel like at this point Disney could handle it. And I think that they would actually be extremely careful, knowing how much is at stake, right now for them, as well as every human being. But obviously they're going to worry about themselves. So that's why I say it that way. But anyway, I just feel like they could handle it. And it's really a shame that they haven't been even given a chance, because at least give them a chance. If something bad happens, then shut it down again. But, I do wonder sometimes if there are hidden statistics from Disney World about, people contracting COVID, because we haven't heard about even one person getting sick from Disney World yet. But I really am curious if somebody
seems like an impossibility.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's a point here where we need to balance it out, and the economy needs to be started again, especially now that we're losing 28,000 people. It's just, we got to find a better balance than just like, nope, none of it, and I was on that bandwagon for a long time of just like, oh, we got to keep it closed for quite a while. But it's getting to the point now where it's feeling safe enough to try and let these things happen at least.
Yeah, at least half capacity, or even like less half capacity, and then start opening up certain like restaurants and like doing like the food festivals or something to at least get people in. I mean, I know people are going to pay just to walk into Disneyland.
Absolutely.
Like just to take pictures. If you had characters just like around, like
Premium price.
away, they would pay. Doesn't even matter. Put
Out
some
the
Halloween
nose.
costumes up there, or Halloween decorations down on Main Street, and some like, I don't know, cool little light show or whatever. People would pay.
Yep.
And like, that they would do it. So I don't know. Come on, Newsom. I'm getting so mad.
And I know that the food festival loophole that we had discussed in long form about, why hasn't Disneyland done something similar to what Knott's Berry Farm has done, and it's been so successful there, and we mentioned sold out. And it does sound like there's a real problem with the callbacks for the unions and trying to get that staffed correctly. It sounds like it might be even more of a headache than it's worth, and that's why it hasn't been done. This is what I've heard internally.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily if all of that's true. It sure seems like you would try and make something work. You would at least make an attempt.
I feel like if Knott's could do it, why? I don't get
There's
it.
unions that are involved in
I-
certain sections.
I
of Disney,
get
so-
that.
And
but-
certainly a lot
They
more
have to, like,
unions at
talk-
Disneyland than you would have at a
Yes.
place like Knott's. Yeah.
I feel like, though, at a certain point, too, these unions need to, like, take a step back and be like, okay, it's not exactly what we wanted, but just like I was saying just a couple minutes ago, like, let's settle and meet in the middle here, because
livelihoods are at stake.
Yeah.
now these petty arguments, I'm not saying it's petty, because obviously they're trying to fight for cast members, but these arguments are now getting in the way of what you want for your cast members. So let's try and settle on something. It's a bummer.
It's tough all the way around. I would not want to be in a leadership position right now in the Disney company. As we understand it, Josh D'Amaro was spotted in downtown Disney here in Anaheim the day after these cuts were announced to be taking place. Can I just say, kudos to Batman for showing up and going into the Lion's Den at this point, because any other Disney executive other than that guy, I think would have just held out in his office for the next couple months and waited, for the rage to
died down.
pass. Yeah, but he went right out into it and was consoling people and was doing his best at a social distance to try and make people feel a little bit better. I think this equally devastates him. We've talked before about how this guy is one of the few that legitimately bleeds Disney, that cares about the cast member, that cares about the experience, that he is somebody who doesn't doesn't traditionally get promoted to a position like this because he isn't the cold calculating businessman.
Right.
And I've watched many times while I was at the Disneyland Resort, John Storbeck, who is very much the heart of Disneyland. He was a guy who was vice president of Disneyland at the time, and he was very much about the magic. There was somebody else who was in an equal position who was much more of the sort of cold calculating business person. They ended up promoting that person to the next position higher, which was the executive vice presidency at the time, and he left. And now he's running Knott's Berry Farm. So he departed, and I use that as a reference because everybody knew why they picked one person over the other. And it gets shown time and time again that they're always going to go with the business person, right? The person that is the cold calculating business person, and not necessarily the magic maker, extraordinaire, heartfelt individual that we traditionally see those individuals get installed in those executive spots. And I'm not saying being a business person and being wise about business is a problem, but what I am saying is that we don't typically see the folks that get both sides and are really good at it. Josh Tomorrow is one of those people, and kudos to him for going out there when he very easily could have just went and hid.
I mean, he did that like during quarantine too. He stopped by people's houses and tried to celebrate their milestones and stuff to try to create like some kind of positive atmosphere while you're stuck at home, and bless him for doing that. And like that poor guy, like how are you gonna sleep at night? Just knowing that you had people crying on your shoulder and how are you supposed to like take care of these people when they're just kind of like crumbling through your fingers? And like his poor, like I bet he has like a really good therapist. Like I mean I'd be paying top dollars to handle what he had to deal with, because I couldn't bear like trying to like have people like cry on my shoulder and like seeing like and knowing that how am I supposed to help them? They just got laid off.
Yeah, you would hope that other executives could learn a thing or two, honestly, but
no, they're like ostriches. They like put their heads like in the dirt and wait for things to pass by. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just easier.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw him while I was filming my Disney World and Pandemic special. I was at Animal Kingdom at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. And I'm filming something, and he just comes walking through my shot all by himself. No entourage, no assistants. He is the chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products globally, okay? And this guy's walking around on a Sunday morning with his name tag on and his mask, checking in with people. Yeah. Frontline cast members. I didn't even see other managers out there checking in on people. And here's the chairman walking through, hanging out with the custodial team. I mean, he does walk the walk, so I don't think for a second that he would have pulled this trigger if he wasn't absolutely forced to, and this came from above, because the company needs to be profitable. Obviously, it's not a charity, but at the same time, you're losing cornerstone individuals, people that built this experience, people that are the magic. Mm-hmm. It hurts. And speaking of individuals that build and are cornerstones of the magic, we have some more unfortunate news. It turns out that Yeehaw Bob Jackson of Disney's Port Orleans Riverside Resort, long known for his incredible talent and performances there at that resort, he too has been let go after 20 some odd years performing at Port Orleans. In addition to that, performers at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort have also been let go during recent entertainment cutbacks. So all the luau folks, all the people that you see performing in the Luau Cove for the dinner party. And in addition to that, Disney's also gotten rid of the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra after more than 32 years. These individuals are, again, I say, cornerstones of the experience. They are the magic. These folks, being in entertainment, put that sparkle in the show, as we used to say when I was at Disney. Individuals that you expect to see every time you visit Walt Disney World, because they are Walt Disney World. Unbelievable to see that happen. And in addition to the entertainment cast members, over 400 Disney Imagineers, people from the Imagineering team, have also been on that list and will be let go if they have not already. Seeing Yeehaw Bob go shocked me.
That's devastating, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, he, in my opinion, he's the heart of Riverside. Like, yeah. I mean, honestly, like the main thing that I would look forward to from going to Riverside was seeing him. And I know there were like allegations for sexual harassment for him a couple years back or whatever. I don't know if that was ever substantiated, and that's horrible if it's true, but I just still couldn't help but smile and think of all the wonderful things that he even did outside of Disney. He used to go to Give Kids the World. He used to go to a lot of retirement homes and things like that, and just like, play songs for the kids and things like that. And so I truly believe he is a wonderful human being, and it's really just heartbreaking to see him not a part of the Disney family anymore. That he was the heart of Riverside, really, in my opinion.
I mean, people come around like all over, all over the world in their trips, and then they would see these people and say like, I can't wait to see Yeehaw Bob. We have to make sure we set out time on our trip to go see the Polynesian dancers and do this like luau thing, or go see the orchestra, and we have to go do this. And again, like, I loved listening to the orchestra at Grand Floridian. You would walk in after going from the monorail and you would just hear their music, and then you're just like, I guess like instant, like, I don't know, astonishment when you walk through this, like, and you get to see this beautiful big Grand Floridian and this beautiful, like, this music playing, and you see all, like, they actually have an orchestra, and it blew your mind, and they would play all this like beautiful Disney music, and then you just get overwhelmed with like joy and happiness that, oh my God, I'm actually on vacation. This is so magical. And like seeing like all the, like, these people gone now, it's just cold and sad. Yeah. And there's really, like, I don't know, people associate these things with their vacation, and now they're just kind of gone, and it's kind of heartless in a way. And it's just,
yeah, I mean, and that was one of the wonderful things about going to the Grand Floridian, and like, for how much that place costs, I mean, there should be like some type of entertainment happening over there. It's just, unfortunately, with these types of things, still being close to the parks is really important, and having that transportation and everything is important. But this is one of those things now that has happened that I'm saying to myself, next time I go to Disney World, next time I make a plan, do I even want to stay on property? Because these people are what created so much soul, in all these hotels, and they're so expensive. In a lot of ways, Disney has tricked people into thinking that these are like premium resorts when they're really kind of not, especially Grand Floridian. I mean, Grand Floridian's rooms like really need help. And it's one of those things where you're paying a really premium price for, the soul of being at Disney. And now they're ripping part of that out. Yeah. So it makes it like, next time I go to Disney World, is like, we already have a trip planned in November, but after that, am I going to be like, maybe we should try staying off property? I don't know. Like, because it doesn't seem like it's worth the money anymore.
Yeah, you lose that entertainment. You lose something even more, I think, significant in terms of a piece of the overall heart of the experience. So tough to see all of these, again, I say cornerstones. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, these are cornerstones of the experience, just eliminated with a phone call. So we wish all of the Walt Disney World cast members and everybody impacted out east, we wish all of them well. Everybody on the West Coast, anybody that's been affected in between or elsewhere at resort properties, our heart is with you. This has been a terrible week, one of, I think, the darkest in Disney history, certainly, and very, very difficult to see anybody struggling, anybody in any sort of pain or any sort of strife in this regard. We're with you, and we will continue to do everything that we can to bring truth to light and help you in the process as much as we can. But just know that everyone will remember the type of magic and impact you've had on the overall Disney experience during your time. To the 28,000 cast members that have been let go or will be, thank you, cast members. Moving along to the Disneyland Resort and some of the news updates on the Disneyland Inn. It does turn out that Disneyland has once again canceled reservations going into October, this time through October the 17th. If you're somebody who was staying at a Disney Resort hotel during this time, or you had plans to stay up and through October 17th, that is now officially canceled. I don't think that's a surprise. Certainly, week to week we cover this as information comes out and as the stories sort of are created in that capacity and were notified that more reservations have been canceled. At this point, I said this with Sabina the last time that we covered this and how it was canceled through, I think it was October the 3rd or October the 10th or something like that. At this point, maybe don't plan until you hear Disneyland's reopening.
How about shut down the reservation system for at the time being and then open it back up again when you kind of figure out like you're going to open up in a month or so, you know?
Yeah.
It just seems like really silly that, I mean, again, they want the money. They want to give you the option. Hey, do you want to extend your vacation in 2 more weeks?
Right.
You know, to keep that money in there.
I
But
don't know. At least these people have jobs right now, so that's.
I know
my
that's
thing.
like
There's that.
there's
Yeah.
that part. So it's just so silly. Like it's just like tugs at your heartstrings. You're like, oh man, again, this is like going out.
It's more so the getting your hopes up.
Yeah, like you're like,
it's
oh
tough.
man, I haven't gotten that notification yet. It's canceled. Oh wait, no, got it. It's yeah, they just need to like either stop it and just say like, hey, you guys, we're not doing reservations for like the next month, and then maybe you can start planning in December. Like, how about just like putting it out there for like a little bit further out the road, not right now in like the next 3 weeks.
I mean, we don't know what their negotiations are like, and it sounds like they're actually not being very talkative to one another, like with the government. I mean, but like, they could just think like, oh, well, we could open any day now in the back of their heads. So
That's what I was thinking. It seems
Yeah.
very optimistic that they're having to do this every couple of weeks because it seems like they just sort of expect that it's coming.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely holding on. Yeah, maybe there's hope. We'll see. But
Yeah.
they're October 17th, now canceled. So if you are somebody that had a Disneyland Resort hotel reservation booked through that time frame, just be advised that ain't happening at this point. So you might have to rebook or reconsider. In other Disney news, it turns out Downtown Disney over at Disneyland is now seeing the type of security screening process that we have been seeing in Walt Disney World. Thank goodness this is finally arriving. We were talking about this when we first saw it arrive in Walt Disney World, and that is the contactless security screening system where you can enter through basically non-touch points. You aren't having anything looked at in terms of bags. You aren't going through that typical security check that you are used to at a Disney park. Now you just walk past a certain amount of towers and off you go. There's very little in terms of any sort of touch that needs to happen unless there's something that goes off and there's a signal that maybe there's something that's in your bag that should not be coming in. 9 times out of 10, it's something that is rectified like an umbrella. It's not something that's necessarily all that concerning. But you see a video, if you're watching us playing now, that sort of gives you an indication as to just how simple this process is and how it allows people to move right through. No stopping, no hesitation, no pauses. I have to say, when I was out in Walt Disney World, the majority of public places in and around theme parks have this, including some spots in Disney Springs. This is something that is so nice to have because, again, you don't have to wait. You just flow on through. And in a time right now where social distancing is everything, people are concerned about that 6-foot rule. It is nice to not have to worry about coming to a screeching halt at a security tent and everybody being under one tent together and trying their best to get things figured out. Because those security screenings take a lot of time based on where you're at.
Like Florida was like I would always just make sure I don't have a bag at all when we go to Florida because I don't want to wait in the heat in the line for like 20 minutes while people have like a bagception going on and pulling out bags on bags on bags. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, can we just go? Like, all I have is this like little wristlet.
Or my favorite maneuver was when you would be on one side of the desk and the other people were on the other side, and then it would be that person's turn. They'd be like, "Oh, can you check this is all my family. Can you check their bags too?" And then you're like, "Oh, all of a sudden you're like 5 people behind where you thought you were." That was always my favorite part. So I'm
so
really
glad.
excited for this. Yeah.
I'm so happy for this. Like with Downtown Disney, when we went during quarantine, like when Downtown Disney opened and we decided to try out Tortilla Joe's, they had this like huge plexiglass thing with this like little hole where like the guard would stand on the other side and you'd have to shove your bag underneath and then they would grab your bag. And I was like, what's the point of the plexiglass? And then they would just like look through my bag and then shove it back. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you're going to like rip my leather bag. And again, like I have a Disney Dooney and Brooke bag and I love it to death. And yeah, it's a little big and everybody knows how expensive Dooney and Brooke bags are. And I'm like, you're going to just shove it through that little hole.
Security's more important.
And I was like, And so I'm so glad this is happening because I feel like it was needed, but
Yeah.
I still feel bad for these like security guards that
Sure.
now are replaced with electronic device.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that we don't have to like wait in a long line, and I hope it works. I bet when you went through, you felt like a little weird doing it. You're just like, wait, what's happening?
I feel like the first time I go through, I'm gonna be like, am I doing it right?
I'm gonna like walk really slow.
That's how I
walking
did it.
through.
Yeah. And I was staring at the security people the whole time, like, are you gonna yell at me for something? Like, is this correct?
And they're like, come on, hurry up. What
Yeah.
are you doing?
It's like me walking through like the security, like the metal detector in the airport, and then I like slowly just walk through, looking at the guard or the TSA, being like, "Am I okay?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm okay. Okay, cool."
Making them more suspicious of you
Right,
every
they're
moment.
like,
yeah.
Should it go off?
What is she doing? Yeah, she's up to something.
So I'm glad this is happening.
It's nice to
Yay.
finally see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and let's make sure that they get installed at all the checkpoints in and around Disneyland, so that nobody has to wait anymore. You can just flow on through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it might not be as normal for a little bit, but like, think of those lines from Harbor in the morning, like how
Yeah.
long they would get, like all the way back to the front of Disneyland, like where the Disneyland property started. I mean,
Oh my gosh, Tyler, it took me 40 minutes to get to you one
Yeah,
morning.
yeah.
Just through that security tent on Harbor side. And I thought I'd have plenty of time. And nope, not at all.
Yeah.
It took forever because every single nook and cranny needed to be looked at in terms of bags. And
Yeah.
what a mess.
we would sometimes stay at the Residence Inn Marriott, which is right by the convention center, and the closest entrance was that Harbor entrance, and we would walk all the way around to go to downtown Disney, and then walk through downtown Disney to get into the parks.
Wow.
Because we
It's a
knew
nice
it would
brisk
take
walk.
less time than it would to go through the Harbor line. So
And that says everything.
thank goodness this is happening.
Yeah, it's about darn time, that's for sure. In other news, Bob Iger, the executive chairman of the Walt Disney Company, has resigned from the California Governor's Recovery Task Force just days after Disney announced the 28,000 cast member layoff process. This is something that we've been talking about for a number of months, especially as there seems to have been so much confusion in terms of the governor reissuing guidelines, or I should say issuing guidelines for the first time of reopening for Disneyland. And our question every week, as we continued to hear that there was about to be an announcement and then there wouldn't be an announcement, was, wait a minute, isn't Bob Iger on this economic reopening task force with the governor's office? Why, how is there any miscommunication? How is there any misunderstanding as to what's going on here? And now we see Bob Iger resign the task force. This seems like a big political move, especially given the fact that the announcement still has not come in terms of guidelines. And then we hear then, just following this resignation, that Disneyland and other theme parks are not happy with the guidelines that I guess have been sort of a first draft, if you will, that have been presented to the governor's office by the governor's office to the theme parks. In a statement, the California Attractions and Parks Association, which represents Disneyland, Universal, and other theme park operations in the state, have asked Newsom to not finalize guidance and make sure that they have more of a, consultation, more of an ability to weigh in. They say in a statement, we asked the governor not to finalize guidance for amusement parks before engaging the industry in a more earnest manner. Listening to park operators' expertise and collaborating with the industry on a plan that will allow for amusement parks to reopen responsibly while still keeping the health and safety for park employees and guests as a top priority. Today, California amusement park leaders who have been working for months to prepare to reopen responsibly saw an initial draft of state guidelines and blueprint placement for California amusement parks. While we are aligned on many of the protocols and health and safety requirements, there are many others that need to be modified if they are to lead to a responsible and reasonable amusement park reopening plan. So this takes me back to the idea of what was going on since July, where we were told time and time again that dynamic conversations, that's the governor's words, dynamic conversations were happening the whole time. Were they even being talked to? I mean, how is this so late in the game? It's the 11th hour here. Now 28,000 people are out of work because this game kept getting played and nobody was talking to each other. There was no communication. Bob Iger's resigning from this board now. What the heck's going on?
I feel like I'm so speechless. Like, what was going on? Like, I get that there was a lot of other issues with like the fires in California and like the governor had to kind of like, take care of that and whatnot. but still.
You have teams,
I
right? You have
mean,
people around you
delegate,
that, yeah.
For the love of God, what is happening? And was like Iger's so pissed off that he just was like, you know what? Peace.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
out.
that's what it was. I mean, I think obviously he wasn't being talked to as much as he felt like he should have, and he probably just
Or
kind of
being
thought this
listened
is
to,
wasting
yeah.
my time. Like, I don't know. Yeah, or being listened to, I guess. Like, and he just kind of figured, well, this is not dynamic, and he decided to get his butt out of there. It seems like really strange to me, and I don't know what to make of it. Honestly, I'm with you, Wade. It's just a really confusing thing because obviously. It seems like somebody was kind of bending the truth here, and it might have been Newsom of like saying like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing. Like, when honestly I feel like the theme parks for him are on such a back burner right now, but he needs to realize, and I know that, if you're not close to it, I don't think you get it all the time, but there's so many people in Southern California who like going to Disney is like their happy time, their thing they do, and it has got to be a pretty massive percentage, honestly. So when you talk about wanting to reopen the economy or whatever, this would be a huge boost for it. And so I don't get what his plan is anymore. I'm just as confused as everybody else.
Yeah, it feels silly, and now hearing that the theme park, basically the theme park coalition here, is also quite flustered over the idea that this sort of, it sounds like hastily put together reopening guideline. It makes me think like, okay, so since July, when apparently all these guidelines were going to be issued, really nothing's been worked on. Really nothing's been talked about. Really nothing has been discussed. And time after time during these press conferences, when the governor gets pushed on it, when are we going to hear? He would always tell them, oh, we're so close. Oh, it's just about to happen. These dynamic conversations are happening right now. Who were you talking to?
Himself in the mirror.
I find it so mind-boggling, and here we are in this process where people's livelihoods were at stake. Now, again, we go back to this idea, 28,000 Disney cast members have been laid off by Disney. Again, it's their decision to lay off the cast members, but on top of it, it was exacerbated, Josh D'Amaro words, the chairman of Parks, he said exacerbated by the state of California not giving that reopening information, because how can you plan, for the future if you don't know what your future is going to be like?
Right.
Yeah,
if you have
that's
no
true.
idea as to what you can do moving forward, how are you going to plan for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the rumors that I've heard is that the state wants it to be like a geographical thing, like so
heard
that,
that too.
so that people that are further away, say like San Francisco or whatever, like won't be able to go to Disneyland. Like, I don't know how true that is, but that's one of the things that I've heard that they're very much against. And I understand that if you can't have people coming from more than a certain mileage away, is it even worth it to open?
Exactly.
I don't know. So
For annual pass holders, it is.
Right.
For like all those people that go on the Friday nights, they have nothing else to do, might as well go hang out or whatever. But they need it within like a couple like a little tri-state area kind of thing. Like having a little bit of Oregon, California, because I get it. They don't want a lot of people flying in. They don't want a lot of like contamination, like spreading, because like California could barely handle getting down the coronavirus right now. So I get it. But at the same time, it's just like you're ruining a lot of people's livelihoods here. So either give them the guidelines, let them figure it out. You guys hash it out back and forth since June, and we could have already been like somewhere in like an opening stage. But
Well, I think about what Tyler said earlier today, and that is at least give them a chance.
yeah,
If things don't pan out, okay, then let's revisit it and pull back and do whatever we need to do. But at least give them the
they've
opportunity.
done it to restaurants, they've done it to salons, they've done it to malls, like and I feel like they could have at least given some kind of guidance to the theme parks to like at least open like half capacity, quarter capacity, see how it goes, and then slowly add on. But I don't know. Now we have to wait.
Looking forward to the guidance here very soon. Hopefully, theme park heads can agree on that, come together, and make sure that it is all executed correctly, and that it is something everyone feels comfortable with moving forward for the sake of the lost jobs, for the sake of the people that are worried about coming back to their career spots. We hope that we will see some drastic measures taken very soon to correct this. You're probably wondering where another member of our team is. Gared Hassel is our Walt Disney World reporter, and he is standing by at the Magic Kingdom. It is Gared on the go time. Let's go. Gared on the go time. Walt Disney World reporter Gared Hassel standing by in the Magic Kingdom. Gared, my friend, that is picturesque. Where are you?
Oh, howdy folks. I'm just hanging out here in Frontierland, sitting on the rivers of America. I'm just fishing for some catfish, hanging out, having a good old time out here while one of the cavalcades goes by down the streets of Frontierland. But we're having a heck of a time out here. How you folks doing back there in California?
Oh, I mean, we're feeling froggy, and I know that it's awfully warm here today, not so overcast like it is with you. But tell us, a lot going on in Walt Disney World outside of the unfortunate news of the loss of cast members that we've covered in long form elsewhere. Definitely want to check in with some other news updates as to what's happening. What do you have to share with us?
All right, the first story I have has to do with what is behind the rivers of America. Starting on the 5th, which is in 2 days, they're going to be closing off pretty much the rivers of America, and they're going to be draining it, doing some refurbishments, and cleaning it. Because as you may have guessed, rivers can get awfully dirty, and so they're going to be shutting down the rivers of America for, it could be anywhere up until February 2021, possibly longer, depending on how everything with the Walt Disney Company goes around. But they're going to be shutting it off primarily from Harper's Mill right there on down past where Big Thunder Mountain is. That's what cast members have led us to believe, and it could be anything from just doing a normal cleaning to putting in new tracks or adding new sort of amenities, or I don't know, maybe they're going to add experience. Highly unlikely, but Rivers of America is going to be shut down for a little bit. So unfortunately, you won't be able to sail on all the Rivers of America. Maybe you'll be able to go down half of the Mississippi or half the Missouri. You're definitely not going down the Ohio. Sacramento River, who knows? I don't know many rivers in America, so that's all I got. I got those like four.
He isn't about that geography. No.
I'm a communication major, not a geography major.
Well, Tyler, Katrina, you guys have a trip coming up here, not in the not too distant future, I should say. You sad? It sounds like the walls are going to be around the rivers of America and Magic Kingdom.
It would just make it feel so close.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Share me pictures when you go in October.
Honestly, and I'm like a weird enough Disney geek that I'm kind of excited in a way because I'm like, oh, maybe I can like peek my head through some crack and like see what's going on in there. But honestly, I'm not. I would be more upset if it was at Disneyland because I feel like Disneyland is like such a picturesque kind of thing, and that kind of makes the whole vibe work. For me at Disney World, it's not quite as important. I don't really need to go to Tom Sawyer Island or go on the Liberty Bell quite as much as I would love to do like a Mark Twain thing.
Sure.
So I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to look like, honestly.
Yeah, no, it'll be nice to get things refreshed out there.
Yeah.
I know the Magic Kingdom is usually battered and bruised through the year with so many people visiting. However, this year, not necessarily a problem. So it has been a lot more lightly attended, I should say, than at any other point. So this might be a good year to drain and clean up some things. And all I know is that when the river is usually drained at Disneyland, the stench that comes from the rivers of America following
I
the
can imagine
drainage.
Florida's like icky water. Ugh.
Only elevated by the humidity. No doubt.
Oh boy.
But,
Yay.
yeah. What, Gared? What?
I was gonna say, luckily, if you're worried about the stench, you have a mask to, keep you from smelling part of it.
There's like thinking
So,
positive,
like,
Gared. Good job.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy, or river half full kind of guy out here. Yeah, you know how it is out here. The Mississippi, it's mighty stinky.
Yeah. And when it comes to face masks, it sounds like there has been some, reestablishing of standards when it comes to the Orlando area and Walt Disney World in particular. What's going on?
Yeah, so last week I reported on the show that Governor DeSantis had pretty much said, phase 3, everything can go to 100% if you want it to be, and you won't get in trouble and stuff. But everyone was wondering, is Disney World going to now go to 100%? The answer is no. It is not going to 100% at all. That's not happening. Disney has stated that They're not going to be removing face masks or social distancing. They're going to be keeping everything as is. However, they are going to look at things as time progresses to see if they want to make more changes, such as maybe letting more guests in or maybe opening up more areas. So this is very much still you have to wear a mask if you want to be here. Otherwise, you get a trespassing warning.
Yay.
So
Which people deserve if they're not going to be doing that.
Follow the
come
rules.
with your mask. Yeah, come with your mask. Check it out. Luckily, right now, the weather is getting cooler and cooler. Today, I think the high was 82 for Floridian. That is winter. But the weather feels fantastic. I don't feel like I'm dying. Even in a thick polo and a face mask, I'm not sweating at all. And so the weather, as the time goes by, come on out here if you have the ability to or if you feel safe enough, because you won't have to worry about sweating all day long. Some days are better than others, but for the past few days, weather's been pretty fantastic. But keep the mask on, keep yourself safe.
Awesome to hear, and I think that as long as there isn't a vaccine, I think that these precautions, these safety standards that have been put into place are probably really important for the sake of a lot of comfort levels of people visiting, even with the state sort of saying, hey, let's kick it into phase 3 and go for it. I think theme parks in particular probably already put that hesitation in people's mind of like, oh, I don't want to go into a theme park and be around crowds. I think keeping some of these safety precautions and some of these health and safety standards in place is probably a good idea. Gared, it sounds like Disney's Hollywood Studios, though, has a returning show, finally, your favorite, as I understand it.
The inner princess in me is beyond ecstatic. That's because we're about to let it snow. Okay, that's all right. The Frozen sing-along celebration is going to be reopening on October 5th in Disney's Hollywood Studios. If you've never experienced it, it is where the former American Idol experience used to be. If you never experienced that, well, it's right next to the Chinese theater. So it's in that main central hub, and you go in there and you get to watch Anna and Elsa and all their friends come out, and you can sing along with them. Also, probably the best part of the show for me, or possibly for adults, they have 2 comedians come out that help add to the story and telling jokes. And honestly, it reminds me of when the genie used to tell jokes during the Aladdin musical in Disney's California Adventure. So I think it's a much needed thing to come to Hollywood Studios, frankly, because there's only like 7 things to do. Now there's 8 things. So, hey, you can now fill up every hour with a brand new activity.
Yeah, I try and forget
while
about
you're
Smuggler's
waiting.
Run.
Yeah. Instead of waiting 80 minutes for Smuggler's Run, you can now wait 30 minutes for Frozen. So it is what it is. But it did not come without a cost. Many people say that because this show came back, that is one of the driving factors that got rid of the Grand Floridian Orchestra. That's what reports have led us to believe. However, we'll never know for sure what's in the paperwork. But at least we get some music and some entertainment. I personally would have rather had the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, but Indy, I don't call the shots yet.
Yeah, hard to tell what decision making wise, what was put up against each other, and what, because obviously that was all on a spreadsheet and all looked at as all right, what packs more of a punch in terms of value, in terms of experience. Ideally, you're going to want to go with something in park for the sake of keeping hordes of people entertained, and probably capacity is a big measure in all of that. How many people can you turn through in a park that has so little to do right now? And we don't necessarily know, I guess, that Grand Floridian Orchestra was eliminated because of this, but yeah, that is certainly the rumor, and it would be a shame to know that any show pushed out another show, but I get it. When you're trying to balance the books, some things have to be eliminated over others.
Yeah,
I think they're just trying to get rid of all kind of like hotel expenditures.
Auxiliary.
Like get rid of Yeehaw Bob, get rid of the Polynesian dancers, get rid of these things because, not all people are going to be hanging out and coming from different places to come visit to listen to the orchestra or whatever, but still heartbreaking.
Yeah, like it makes sense to put more in the theme parks. I get that, but and I'm happy that people have any type of job. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm happy for the people that do the Frozen show, but man, you're gonna gut me with the Yeehaw Bob thing, and then bring back the Frozen thing. It's like, come on now.
Double whammy.
Yeah,
that's what that is. unfortunate news in one instance, and then, of course, happy to hear that we are going to be seeing the ladies of Arendelle returning here to Hollywood Studios very soon. Gared, my friend, it sounds like some annual pass action is going on out there that might just be some positive news potentially for us out here if and when Disneyland reopens.
Yeah, there is a slight victory for the for annual pass holders. So when the parks reopened, annual pass holders at the time were not, or if you did not have an annual pass, you could not buy a new one. But it looks like if your pass expired after March 16th or was canceled after March 16th, you are able to renew it or get a brand new one. However, this is a case-by-case basis, so you'll have to talk to a cast member and hope that your case works out. So it's a slight victory. Overall, no new like if you've never had an annual pass, you can't go out and buy one. You're going to have to do the daily park pass ticket and then make a reservation, which is what I assume many of the guests here are doing. Myself, my annual pass, it would have expired back in April, but because I kept doing payments, they extended it out, and now it's about to expire in October. But because I am still in the since it's still active, I'm going to be able to renew it at, I believe, a 10% discount. So if you have an annual pass, try and keep it going. If it had been canceled, then call a cast member, see if you can renew it if you want to. If not, that's okay too. Up to you. We know that everyone's financial situation is tough. And coming along the way to also talk to us is Chip and Dale. You can't really see them, but they're coming to deliver news about annual passes as well, because they want you to come out and visit them.
No doubt about it. Are they on the barge?
Those little troublemakers.
Yes, they are on a barge. Let me get them close. I'm going in the water.
Don't fall in.
Yeah, don't drop the phone.
All right. Yeah, here's some magic for you folks out there.
Yay.
Chip and Dale, as best as you can see.
Hi.
Oh, see, I got a soft spot for Dale.
Why
Dale
Dale?
on that chip.
Because Dale, he's a silly one, and I think I'm a silly person.
Oh, okay.
Like, they're both silly.
That makes
but
sense. Look at them.
Dale,
They're
he's got the
dancing.
funnier voice.
Katrina has a soft spot for their feet.
Oh,
Come again?
You heard me.
I hate feet so much. Feet are gross. But then, I don't know.
Okay.
These little chipmunks, their feet are so cute. They're just so tiny.
well,
Oh.
the sad thing is, I've never seen an actual chipmunk. I've only ever seen one of those guys. I've never seen a chipmunk in real life. I've seen squirrels. I've seen possums. I've seen every kind of varmint out there, except an actual little chipmunk.
Well,
So,
it's like looking in a mirror
Oh.
between those two and all the chipmunks.
Oh, I thought you were calling me.
I know,
Me
that's
varmint.
what I thought too.
Yeah, I heard the gasp everywhere in here. No, it's I am not that mean-spirited. It's producer Kurt would have said something like that,
Yeah.
but not me.
Yeah.
I would never say something like that. No. I mean, like looking in a mirror of Chip and Dale looking in the mirror. It's the same image.
But
No
Dale's
comment.
Right
just a
now,
little
so-
drunk with his little red nose.
So, fun fact: if you don't know who Chip or Dale is, and you're just like, "Hey, look, squirrels!" Not squirrels. So, Chip has a black nose like a chocolate chip, and Dale has a red nose, or a Dale is also another word for a gap between your teeth. I'm trying to be louder than Chip and Dale, and then the Princess Cavalcade coming down.
Oh,
I'm
no.
competing right now. We're doing a live show. You're ruining the
Panama.
spotlight.
Reminds me of some vloggers I've seen.
Jeez Louise. Great timing, Gared.
Like,
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, they're just
Oh,
floating
they're
right
coming
on back.
towards you.
Here they
Be
come.
careful.
yeah.
How
Hi, guys.
authentic are you? Oh, they're in their Halloween attire. Look how
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Wings.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
I love their little tails. Look at the feet. Look at the feet. You can see them.
Well, Gared, we appreciate you being out there for us. Happy 49 years to Magic Kingdom.
That's right.
As
Oh, I thought you were
all
gonna.
got
I'm like, I'm
overshadowed.
not 49. I'm only 87, man. Like, you're setting it way too low for me. But yeah, happy birthday. Yeah, October 1st, 1971. Disney World opened with Magic Kingdom, and also in '82, Epcot opened. Yeah.
Thank
Fun
you for
fact.
that.
He knows his dates.
Yeah. And I know dates. I know dates, and I know Disney stuff. I
You
don't
do.
know
Not
much of anything
geography.
else.
No.
But with Disney, they are the only thing that as they get older, they get better looking. Everyone else, except for like I don't know, Samuel L. Jackson, they get older. So Like, I was trying to think of a good comparison. Samuel L.
Yeah.
Jackson doesn't age. Plus, he's Frozone. Yeah, but Disney gets better with age. Mickey, same thing. They're coming back again. They're
Oh
coming
my
back
God.
for revenge.
Let's get out of there.
Yeah.
They know. They know. Yeah.
They know. Like, you guys had your show. You had Rescue Rangers.
Oh, this poor lady.
But
Absorbing
it's
all
one
of our
heck of a
time.
time out here. The guests appear to be loving it. They are corralling everyone.
That's cool to see them out on the barge and definitely making an impact Halloween style out there at Magic Kingdom. Gared, thanks so much for being with us this week. Don't go swimming today out in the rivers of America. I know you want to do it one last time before things shut down. So be safe.
Yeah, like I would love a nice swim, but I'm gonna wait for that thing to be clean, and then I still will not jump in it. I'll stick to the waters of Splash Mountain while that's still around too.
Ah, good idea. Very smart, my friend. Well, we will talk to you again real soon. Thanks for dropping by. And more Kingdom Report Live is set and ready for you next.
Do you know everything the ghost host is going to say before he says it? Are you ready to thank the Venetians each time you board Spaceship Earth? Can you recite Walt's opening day dedication speech? Then join the Kingdom team today, the influential Legacy fan community featuring exclusive merchandise that will alert all who've come to this happy place that you are more than just another guest. You are a trusted theme park fan. Don't miss out. Join the Kingdom team right now by visiting the homepage at kingdomreportlive.com. That's kingdomreportlive.com. And now, back to the magic.
As we wrap things up one last time, I'm going to check in with Tyler and Katrina. Anything magical happening this week? Anything we should know about?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to Knott's Berry Farm today, and we're going to go do the Halloween food festival, so should be pretty fun. I'm excited. I'm going to have some. We've got Gared running in the background, and it's kind of being distracting. But anyway, no, we're going to go and check it out and have some fun, post some food pictures, so come and follow me at Attract Faction on Twitter.
Get the grub photos on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Katrina, you had something very nice you wanted to present.
I do. So this really took a toll on me this week. My heart breaks for everybody that was affected by all of this. So I just wanted to shout out and try to offer a little help on my end if I can. So I work for a staffing company, A-Team Staffing in Southern California. So we handle, it's like a locally based staffing firm. And so we kind of do all over Inland Empire, Ventura, Orange, all that stuff. So I'm sorry for Walt Disney World people, but anyway, so we handle like title, escrow, mortgage, and real estate industries, and we have like full-time, temporary to hire, direct placement positions available. And if you're looking for a job and you need something for the time being, please send your resume to me, Katrina at ateamstaffing.com, and let's see what we can do for you, because and if you think that you might not be able to fit in like title, escrow, or whatever, believe me, there'll be something for Disney cast members, because you guys are amazing and you always create magic in any way possible. So if you just feel like you just want to send it my way and see if we can do something, please do. You'll be on my top of my list this whole like next couple weeks. So so please send them my way. Or if you know anybody that's looking, please send them my information and send me their resumes or whatever. So I'm really sad. So I just, so please like let me help you. That's all I can do. So
Thank you for your big
Yeah.
hearts, and thank you for your consideration and being able to do something like that. That's
Yeah, of
really
course.
powerful, and you never know, who might be watching. If you happen to know anyone that is a Disney cast member that has recently been let go or given that pink slip, please pass the message along to them if they have any sort of transferable skills, if there's somebody who might be in line with that realm, that Katrina is looking for some individuals and is here to help. So definitely something that we want to encourage you to share with all of your friends if they are coming from the Disney Parks Walk of Life. Checking in one last time out east in Orlando. Gared, Hassel, anything to share with us as we sign off?
I wanted to share Cinderella Castle with you folks in the rose gold 50th anniversary color as the Princess Cavalcade comes down Main Street. I just wanted to try and end on a happy note. It's been sort of a somber live show today, so I wanted to have the castle in the background. My heart goes out to any cast members affected. I truly love you all as a past cast member, and hope that in the future you guys find luck and just remember to have faith, trust in pixie dust, and believe that dreams do come true. Like, you just have, I know it sounds cheesy, but that stuff really does mean a lot, especially to cast members. So thank you all. But yeah, some Cinderella Castle magic for you guys.
It means a lot, and we appreciate it. Happy early Halloween out there at Magic Kingdom, and thanks for dropping in, Gared. Producer Christian, thank you for doing a bang-up job today. Excellent work. And,
Didn't quit.
Happy to have you on the team.
I tried my best. I'm just trying to keep up with producers' Kurt standards is all.
He runs a tight ship.
He does.
He does?
Yeah, I saw he was in live chat here on YouTube just a few minutes ago. If he has time to be in live chat, he has time to be here with us.
Seriously, right?
I
I
know.
know.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong
Yeah.
with that guy?
Now you need to start bringing in some nice fun cups for us to talk about
Yeah.
before the show
I
starts.
know.
That's.
Sorry, Kurt. It's Christian's cup corner now.
I can't keep up with Kurt's cup corner.
If Kurt does cups, can we have Christian do popcorn buckets or some other kind of souvenir item?
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's a good
Um,
idea.
Well, assuming that he's collected those.
I
Yeah.
know.
Right.
I will have to salvage or scavenge through my little dungeon of sorts to determine if I have something to keep up with Kurt's cup corner.
I love it.
That's right. You gotta live up to those standards in more ways than just the technical end. Yeah, you have to share something with us. So we look forward to seeing something from you next week, sir. Bye, George.
You can try.
I will. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps things up for us. Thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast today. If you know anybody that would like to see or hear anything that we have to share, make sure you pass the link along. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you give us a big thumbs up wherever you're watching, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be over on the Facebook. Let us know that you appreciate what you have seen today. And that not only helps the video perform well, it also makes sure that we continue doing this content for you. We know that we are headed in the right direction. Our heart is with all 28,000 cast members that are being affected by the news this week. We are thinking of you. We are with you. And remember that the legacy of Walt Disney lives on because of people like you and me. We'll see you next week, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific for an all-new Kingdom Report Live.